Hi guys, Are here. Welcome back to my channel. So today I do have a very nice episode and a special guest for you guys. So I'm going to let her introduce herself and then we dive into today's topic.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for welcoming me here, Ray. My name is Milka Saboa. And what else should I say about myself?
Okay, yeah, I'll take it on from
Yes.
there. Yeah. So Milka is Ugandan,
Yes.
but also like African American.
Yes.
So she is Ugandan. She was born in Uganda, but then she went to live in the US when she was really young, and then now she has finally decided to come back and settle in Uganda. Yes, so that's her. So I thought it would be very interesting to ask her because she has experiences of both countries. You were here when you were a child, so you really don't remember much.
I don't.
So you have more of your adulthood is like an American experience.
Yes.
But now you're back to Africa.
Yes.
Yes. So to begin with, what made you want to come back to Uganda?
Yes.
You can even actually tell us like a little bit of where you're born and things like that if you want to as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So I left Uganda at around age 6. I left with my family. I left with my mother, my father, and my siblings. And they went to look for greener pastures in America. So I grew up over there, and I spent like maybe something like 15 years before I came back to Uganda for the first time again.
So meaning you're like 21 when you
No,
first came back.
no, no, not 15 years. I think I came back at around the age like 14 for the first time with my mother. And then after that, I came back at around age 21. And that's when I came back alone for the first time. And I was trying to just see if I can live in Uganda by myself without, my parents or my siblings. And I was just trying to see another side of Uganda because I felt like that experience was stripped from me when I was young. And I never knew what that meant. I just only maybe heard about Uganda. I wanted to learn the language. I wanted to learn about my culture and my traditions. So I came back for the first time alone around that age, but then I ended up going back to the US.
Okay, interesting. So you first came back,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And you said you wanted to live in Uganda and get the
Yes.
Ugandan experience.
Yes.
But then you went back to the US again,
Yes.
and then now you're back. So tell us, why did you go back? Was it difficult? Could you not handle it? Yeah, tell us about that experience.
Yeah, it was difficult because I guess I would say I had an American mentality when I came over here. I had some sort of maybe like, I felt kind of like entitled to things, and I had high expectations, or I thought maybe since I'm coming from America and I had maybe some amount of money, then that means everything was going to be okay. Like, I had money, now I can operate how I want and do what I want, but that wasn't the case because there was a lot of barriers in the way that came. In terms of like culturally or socially, things of that nature, and not knowing so much about how things operate in Uganda. I fell into like a lot of situations. Yes, so I had to go back to the US to sort of collect myself and learn more about Uganda before I make that jump again, to try to come back.
Okay,
Alone.
that's
Yes.
very interesting. So money was not a problem. You had
No.
some money,
Yes.
but you said culture barriers. So what was that? What was the most difficult thing that you felt? Oh my God, I'm not ready for this. Let me first go back to the USA and then come back to Uganda. Like, what was that one most difficult thing? Was it like the dust? Because Kampala is very dusty. Was it like the food? Was it like the water? Like what was that thing that made you say, "Oh my God, let me go back"?
Yeah.
Like, be specific.
Yeah, it was my mentality. It was the mentality that I had. It was sort of like an American mentality, thinking that since I'm from America, that means like I'm entitled to things. Like I can basically do anything or achieve anything because, I'm coming from the U.S., but this is it's a different world. Like, people move differently here. People make moves differently. Some it moves differently somehow. Make moves differently. What else can I say?
I actually get your point, yeah. So I've had like friends, when they think of Africa or a third world country, they kind of underestimate how difficult it's going to be, especially when you're going to do business, when you're going to relate with people, like the challenges, the obstacles. Most people underestimate how difficult it's going to be. And I've seen two examples. Let me just give you like my previous experience where I used to work. I used to work for a Dutch company, and we had a country manager who was Dutch. So when he relocated to Uganda, I thought like, oh my God, I'm going to come and scale my business. We are going to have like 20,000 more people within like a year or two. Oh my God, this is going to be so easy. This is Africa, but was in for a challenge. Like, it was difficult. So I remember him saying, oh my God, I underestimated how difficult this country is going to be. So what's the difference between your mentality today and your mentality then?
Yeah, the difference is I did educate myself when I went back. I had to educate myself more about who I am as a person, and what I want to do in life, and my own purpose and how it relates to Uganda. When I came, I was so young, and it was sort of like a self-discovery kind of thing. I had no goals or aspirations. It was just sort of like sporadic. Let me just go to Uganda and see whatever goes. So when I went back to the U.S., I guess I matured more, and I became more responsible, and I gained some goals and aspirations that I want for my future, and that I wanted to do over here. So now I have more of like structure that led me back here versus sort of taking a risk when I was young.
Diving into something.
Just diving into it.
Okay, so I would like to ask you, what is your experience so far in general? I think you told me you've been here like for 3 months now, right?
Yes, it's coming to 3 months.
So yeah, just tell us your experience.
Yeah, my experience is positive because, of course, I came with a different mentality now. I have more goals. I'm more educated on certain issues. I've learned from my past, from when I first came here. And I'm just a bit older, I'm more mature. I know what I want. And also, I see where the world is shifting in terms of like Africa. And it seems that Africa is, just trying to, or maybe Uganda is changing and shifting a little bit more. And it's no longer, I guess, gonna be at the bottom so much, but it's rising up in a way. So I want to be a part of that, and I'm still taking a risk in some ways because, I left my family and everything that I had in the U.S. to come back over here. But I see something positive in Uganda, Yes.
Okay, that's great. So you say you want to be a part of this positive change that is coming.
Yes.
Would you tell us exactly what you intend to do? Maybe like a business, or maybe set up something? Would you share with us more?
Yes, definitely. I am trying to set up some type of business over here. The main thing what I really want to do is I hope to become successful here, and to hopefully show others that they can also do it too, and show others that they can also come back and resettle in Uganda, and hopefully help people through that as well. And different ideas, I don't want to expose too much about what I'm doing because it's still new.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to settle in.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
but as
that's
time
fine.
goes on, yes.
That's fine. So would you share with your fellow African Americans, if someone is interested in Uganda, have you seen like any other potential business ideas that someone could look into maybe? Because you guys, your eyes, when you reach here, you're like, oh my God, I see like so many opportunities. This place is so virgin. So what are some of those that you've seen?
It's 100% virgin over here. There's so many opportunities. It's just the mentality and how you operate. and how you treat people too, and the right connections, you know. But I definitely see a market in, maybe making products, or maybe natural body products, or if you want to sell things like herbal things, in terms of that, because there's so much how can I say it, like natural things here, or like herbalistic things here that you can get into.
So when you were having a discussion, you said you have little ones.
Yes, I
You have
do.
2 babies. So how are they coping up with Uganda? Do you have like something to tell parents, or like families who want to relocate? How do they find it?
They love it. They love it. I wanted to give them that experience. That was like one of the most important things for me, because I didn't have that experience of growing up in Uganda, So it's sort of like watching them grow up here. It's sort of like seeing how, it's like I'm kind of like living through them, seeing how that looks like, to grow up in the motherland, or to grow up, in their homeland. And they love it so much because they're always outside, they're always in the sunshine, and they're always around family all the time. They're so happy. There's always someone around them. They're catered to, they're nurtured here. There's always things to do for them that they don't get bored, So I definitely recommend it for families to, for people to bring their children over here, because it's like a nurturing environment. It just nurtures your children like in the direction that it gives you that fullness, that you want in your child. Yes.
So if you say a nurturing environment, you're Ugandan, so you do have family. For someone who is not Ugandan, are they still going to feel the same way?
Definitely, yes.
Is it more about the people?
It's definitely about the people. It's very nurturing, and people here are just so, they're willing to help, Of course, you have to find the right connection and things like that, but it's like your fellow brothers and sisters. There's that connection there, and you can easily connect with people, and they're just so willing to help and willing to, help you to get to where you need to get to. It's not like in America, it's sort of like an isolated environment over there.
Yes.
It is isolated, but you don't feel that over here at all.
Okay.
So there's no isolation. Yes, especially when you have kids.
Like the neighbors running around.
Exactly. It's easy to quickly make friends, create your own family over here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's a very interesting one. So people like to ask, like, in terms of cost, if someone is going to come, let's say if they want to visit, how prepared should they be? What are some of the things that they're supposed to know or do research about? Talk about it both for the short-term visit, maybe like 2 weeks, and then for the long-term visit as well. Financially, how should they be prepared? We've already talked about the mental. Yeah, maybe financially, and maybe any other things that someone should know.
Okay. I would say financially, it depends on, like, if you're coming as an individual, if I'm going to talk hardcore facts, I would say if I'm going to say figures, maybe to really, if you're trying to come over here to start a business in a long term, I would say definitely like a good 5,000 will help you out if you're trying to stay for a year, and that can cover like, where you're going to stay, food, and everything else that you need. And even if you're trying to start a business or like an investment in something as an individual, that can definitely take you a long way for a year if you're, operate very smart. And as a family, I would definitely say around 10K can get you, started over here, and that can also take you for a good year, if you operate very smart. And, the cost of living over here is, cheaper, and the dollar does go a long way, but you also really have to be financially smart. Yes.
Okay, so you've talked in terms of expenses.
Yes.
What do you mean by if you're smart? Do you mean like if they cook instead of eating out?
Yeah.
Do you mean that if they get like a more reasonable apartment that is not too expensive? And when you say start an investment, if you have 5K,
Yes.
do you mean it can cover your expenses for the entire year? Would it also cover your business expenses if
Yeah,
you're
it can.
starting out?
I think it can.
So elaborate
Yeah.
more.
Yes, I think it can. And when I say like being smart about it, it goes back to the American mentality. Like, the cost of living is higher over there, and here it's just like there's certain things you have to do. You can't just be frivolously spending, and things are different too. When it comes to like the way that you pay your phone bill, or you pay the electric, or how you pay water, and everything is completely different. So you have to make smart moves. Yes, you can't just come and think like the way it is over there, it's going to be here. It's completely different. And if you're not careful, you can see that your money just disappears like that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's a very good point. So you have to be a smart spender.
Yeah.
Spend like you're in Uganda, not in America.
Exactly, that's the best way to say it. Yes.
I think that dollar will take you a long way, right?
Very long way, yes, it
Okay.
will.
Okay, that's very nice. So I'd like to know, is that all apart from spending smart, and having the right mentality before you come here? What else? Is there anything else supposed to know? Or have the people, okay, you've already said the community is very welcoming for you. Have you faced any challenges, people calling you like, oh, you have a Muzungu accent? Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's just a bias, and I understand it too, because, I've lived abroad for so long, and coming back over here, there's just that bias or like a judgment, but I understand it. I don't take it to heart. I just know that maybe they just think of me in a certain way, and it's according to what they see on TV, or what they have their minds made up about how people come from America. Or I don't really consider myself an African American per se, because I was born in Uganda, but yes, I am categorized as an African American over there because we're all one. But if we're gonna get technical, African Americans are like a special, specific group of people, because they have a special, specific kind of history to like someone who was born in Uganda or whatever. They have a certain something special about them, like a specific history that Africans or people that Ugandans don't really have. So they're like a specific group, but I do relate to them because, of course, I was an African also living in America at one point, right? But another thing I would say, if you're trying to come back to Uganda or anywhere in Africa, is just to let go of the fear, because it doesn't exist. Yeah, it's you don't have to be scared about coming back over here. Just take the chance and come back, and even if it fails, you know that you did it. You can't really operate in fear. There's really nothing scary over here. It's all love and positivity, and it's beautiful over here. And there's so many people here who are willing to help you, the right people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. I think there is really nothing to fear about it.
Yes.
Yeah, I do agree with you. When you meet the right people, definitely they will help you. But of course, you also have people who try to like scam you. If you're trying to buy like a piece of land or a house, if you're trying to buy something on the street, someone will try to overcharge you. Like, you'll be aware of those, but you just have to get like people who are just like your friends.
Yes.
If you have like a local friend, who can take you around, show you ABCD, someone you can trust, like build trust with, it will be so easy to get around this country.
Yeah,
Uganda is not so
people
difficult.
Like me and you.
Yeah, it will be so easy. So I'm going to go back to kids. There is something I forgot to ask you about, which is about education. I understand education is free in the US for the little ones, like maybe high school or whatever.
Yes.
So tell us about your experience trying to find a school for your kids,
My experience has been both positive and negative. Positive because, yes, the school fees are there. And I really got to see that in Uganda, people really do invest in their children's education. Like, it's a serious investment, and I see why education over here is so serious. Why people, why parents are very strict with their children when it comes to,
Okay, that money.
when it comes to making sure they get the best scores and they're the best of the best, because it's a literally an investment. I went around at different schools, and I was definitely looking for something that was going to give my children an all-around experience, especially a school that's going to really teach them their culture and their traditions, you know. And it's been very positive, but as of now, because, of COVID-19, schools are shut down in Uganda. So they've been getting some private tutoring at home. And yeah, that's also very easily accessible here. Like, the teachers here are so willing, and they come to your house, and it's just been so positive. And the children are learning a lot. Yes, and they're learning the language too. Yes.
Oh yes, they have to learn Luganda. So you're from Central Uganda, you speak Luganda, right?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. So when people come here, just be aware, guys, here we pay school fees right from kindergarten to... I was very surprised when you told me that education in the US is free. I was like, what? Oh my God.
It's free, but some do pay for private schools, but there's public education that's free, definitely.
So the thing here in Uganda is that the public education, the one by the government, is the worst kind of education.
Yes.
You'd never take your child there because they literally learn nothing. So any parent who loves their kid, they will hustle to pay school fees.
Yes, oh yes.
Parents hustle to pay school
They
fees.
do.
It's so expensive.
They do.
Would you tell us how much you're going to pay for your kids in their new school?
Yes. So if I would round up all the schools I looked at, if I would say a round up figure, I would say it's like a good 900,000 shillings. That's like a down payment, and that's for
like $280.
yes. That's not including the uniforms that they have to get, and like books and other little things that that go on there. But altogether, I think you can spend a good $400. And it's per term, right? Yeah, it's per term. So it's definitely an investment. But they get an all-around education. That's one thing I like. It's worth it for me.
Okay.
I would say it's definitely worth it, Yes.
So I believe I've asked all that I wanted to ask. Do you have any more things that you'd like to share for someone to know? Or are those all the tips, your final parting shots?
Yeah, my final thoughts I would say is that is again not to have fear.
Okay.
There's that thing and it happens to even Ugandans who go to Uganda go to America. Once they reach there, they get that American mentality, and then they start to feel like maybe that they're better, or that Uganda is trash, or and they say things like, "Oh, I'm not going back to that place," or "Oh no, man, no, I'm in America now. That place is not for me." Things of that nature, and it's just strange for me. And actually, that is one of the reasons why I got so interested in coming back, because I used to hear those things a lot from Ugandans, trash talking Uganda. So it just drove me into saying, this is why I want to come back. I really want to know what is over there. How is it? And it wasn't true.
So I do agree with you. When people go to the US from Uganda, they feel like Uganda is so, for lack of a better word, okay, I don't want to say trash, but I feel like, oh my God, I'm above the Ugandan level now.
Yes.
I'm making money in dollars. We call them basama, and they usually come in December. Have you heard that term?
Yes, I've been told
And in
that.
December, oh my God, all the clubs in Kampala, they'll be out partying all the time, throwing the dollars. The cars will be expensive because now they're trying to buy cars.
Yep.
We have that period when basama are in Kampala. All these Ugandans live in the diaspora who come for Christmas. We always have that period, they're around. But of course, because of COVID, now it's restricted, but it's always a thing,
Yes.
So you're very right. When Ugandans leave the country, not everyone, of course, it depends on the individual.
Yes.
But they'll feel like they're making more money, it's a nicer country, so they'll be guys, I'm now above your level.
Yeah, and it's true, and you do make more money in the US, but it's important to invest back home, because if Uganda is not where you want it to be, then this is where you were born. So of course, you have to invest back home and build it to the way that you want. But if you're there in the U.S. complaining about it, then it's just pointless, you know. Everyone else comes over here. All different types of races and cultures come over here and take for granted, you know, they take literally what Uganda has to offer. So why not? Why not the why not African Americans who have an origin over here come over here and also take for granted what Africa has to offer? So that's what I have to say. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Milka. So where can people find you if someone wants to get in touch with you, to maybe like your Instagram or something, an email?
Yes. People can reach me on my Instagram, and hopefully you can
Link it to the
link it.
description.
Yes, and they can also reach me on my WhatsApp number, which you can help me to link
Okay.
down there. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Share your thoughts in the comment section. I'm going to leave her Instagram and her WhatsApp in the comment section, and she can help you guys in case you have any questions about Uganda. And we shall see you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you.